Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd get another video out showing some progress on current projects here and something on a future project. Um, as in this carrier, temporary name is MCR-McLaren. I just made that up, so it has nothing to do with lure from the Expanse. However, if anybody happens to know like a good name I could call this ship, something that would be lure friendly with the actual books or the TV show in Expanse, that would be really cool. Basically, I'm looking for a last name of someone that they would name a ship after with the Martians. A general or a leader or something like that, to try to keep it lure friendly. But you get a pretty good idea on what the ship's actually looking like now. I've got the bottom kind of laid out a little bit with blocks, but I have not done the texturing there yet. Most of my time actually has been on the interior of this, and this actually was a lot of work getting this part going here. This is the inside hangar, and it is completely asymmetrical from one side to the other again, like the rest of the ship pretty much. And I've been trying to do a lot of part embedding into the walls. Like up here I've got 6 fuel tanks that are kind of visible. Here's a couple of the CPU blocks, 2 of the 4. I've got the others in the engineering area. And then of course your crafting section here. Now currently I have 3 constructors, advanced constructors, and 2 320K storage, as well as a 48K ammo storage in the middle. Now I've been embedding in LCDs in spots. I don't have any of the displays made yet, but I've got some behind this area, so I plan on projecting graphics and stuff over these sections. And I'm going to try to get into a lot more LCD projection on this ship in a lot of different spots. I had got some areas that are kind of unfinished in here yet, like this section here, and similar to the other side on that section. Now the layout of the ship is well, it's again asymmetrical. Also, I forgot to say there is 3 small constructors and some extra storage crates on this side right now. So on this side of the ship, you have 2 parts of the engineering area, and these are unfinished. So over here we've got generators. The ship currently only needs 3 of these, but I've got 4 in place. That might be needed with the shield. The other half of engineering is over this way. Don't mind this weird looking cage thing. I'm gonna probably change that. This is largely unfinished, but I'm trying to get it like a general layout of engineering to get the parts placed. So we've got our gravity generator, shield, some oxygen, offline protection, warp drive, core location, and then I've got the other 2 CPU blocks down in here right now. So it's coming along. On this side you have a central elevator that takes you all the way down to the hangar floor, and then it gets you up into this midsection area. Now this ship kind of works a little bit like the Persis, in which there are 3 different doors heading out to the flight deck at different locations. Like there's one up front here, one in the middle, and one way in back. So you can get out to the flight deck pretty quickly. And then of course you can take the elevator here, which is going to go up to the bridge, I think. Yeah, it did. I just jumped past it. Okay. And I might have a little bit of room in between here to add in some other stuff, but I plan on getting like a little med bay and things like that over here. Going across the ramp over the hangar, well, yeah, might as well keep the light on, I guess. Takes you over to the fluff stuff, so basically your crew rooms and things like that are over here. So nothing important to necessarily walk that way to. But you also have an elevator that'll get you up on this side as well, and then there's some little walkout balconies on either side over here. So yeah, I'm still finalizing the lighting and things like that. It's a little dark in places yet, but it's getting there. And this was probably 2/3 of the interior of the ship at least, just getting this area figured out. Um, on a couple other things, I've been having some issues with the Sparrow in space. Now I did say, and it is true, it flies in space, and it is pretty controllable. Problem I've got is I can't seem to stop or land properly, even on the carrier. I'm just always drifting around, and I cannot seem to ever stop from drifting around. Now, I get how it's kind of working, sort of, where I've got the thrusters in back. I have one front thruster, but literally because I don't have thrusters on the top and bottom, I can never seem to stop myself from rotating around like I am right now. I'm not even touching thrust right now, and it just keeps coasting pretty quickly. Um, so trying to line up to actually land on the carrier, I've been finding to be very, very difficult to do because I got no brakes, I guess, and that's probably because I don't have thrusters in all these different angles. So I don't know. I like the idea of how this ship is flying, and it seems to work all right in the atmosphere. But in space, yes, I can get around and I can go from planet to planet. But trying to accurately slow down to land on anything is I'm finding it almost impossible to do. Even if I was completely lined up with that hangar, it just or the runway on the ship up there, it just seems to just keep on drifting, and I'm kind of uncontrollable right now. So, uh, it seems to work good from point to point. Like if I was gonna take off from one planet and go to another planet, then I have control again. But trying to accurately land it in space on something or in a door seems to be very problematic at this point in time. Um, well, anyway, on progress on this, yeah, I'm gonna have to divert back to the Martian base because I did want to release that this Sunday. So I'm going to get going on that again. I still don't have any definite answers on the material that I'm going to use. Comments, I've been, some want it steel, some want it are cool with carbon substrate, some want it concrete. I I don't know. I don't know what to do. I of course as a builder I like the textures available with two of those three. But concrete to me seems like the most practical for the cost and the highest amount of hit points. So maybe I'm going to do a blend, a mix again. It's going to take longer. I'm going to have to replace a lot of the blocks in the thing. Probably do a mass convert to concrete and then figure out where I'm going to want texture lights or other textures and replace those with probably steel, I guess. Um, But yeah, I've been mostly enthused at getting this carrier all said and done. I'm liking it a lot. Now, what you see over to the side here, I whopped this up yesterday pretty quickly, and this is kind of a wireframe of a potential large space carrier. Um, Quite a bit bigger than this one. It's bigger than the Persis as well. I wouldn't say it's necessarily bigger than the Creel War Carrier, but size-wise, it's really trying to get a lot of space out on the flight deck areas. But this is kind of how I build, especially with bigger stuff. I like to map out my shape first, and a lot of times, like I did some refinement, but when I was first laying this out, it was total Minecraft where I was just using full blocks. It's just I know to do like 2 blocks and one up and 2 blocks to one up for like 22.5 angles and or like 1 to 45-degree angles. So when I was laying this out, I was doing that, and then later on I would go through and put in angled blocks on those edges, kind of like what you see going on over here in the back here. I'm kind of laying this out so I know blocks will work on this But I found it to be quick and nice to like lay out stuff. And if you don't like your dimensions, you can cut and paste stuff around. Like this one here, I think it needs to be longer. So I might chop it right down the middle here and bring it out. Actually, let's just do that a second. Um, so let's say we just start a selection here. I'm going to start here. I'm going to try to get this whole back area of the ship selected here. And I'm not too care on how accurate I am, as long as I don't miss anything. Like right now, the ship to me seems a little bit squatty. Get it all the way to the edge. I think so. Okay. So let's just do a copy, paste. See how much bigger should this be? That's 3, 5, 7. Let's say we went there with it. There. Now the ship's bigger. So yeah, I do stuff like that until I get like a general layout down, and I think the shape is cool overall, and then I start doing a refinement process. I found this to be a whole lot quicker than kind of messing around with it, and especially because it's really quick and easy to lay out just blocks and getting your general shape down. But once you have things that are all developed and filled in, it becomes a lot more difficult to do like what I just did here, like make the ship longer. So that's just something I got in the works right now. But I guess what I'm really curious on, and some questions for you guys, is what's up with auto brake? How does that work? Can these alternative flight models actually work in space for any bit of accuracy, or am I going to have to just go back to doing ships with thrusters in all directions all the time? And why I asked is because on this one here, I was thinking this was going to be a space carrier, and it's going to be pretty big, and it might even be bigger than what you see here now. But I was, to keep the cost down and CPU cost down, I was thinking I was going to try to set it up with a similar type of flight model to the Sparrow, where I'd, probably put in some big thrusters separated out in the back over here, and maybe like a braking thruster on the front, and then call it good, because I didn't want this necessarily to land on planets. But flying the Sparrow around, I can't control it in space. I can move, and I can get from one point to the other okay, like flying between planet or flying out to a moon or something like that. But I tell you, I can't even land this thing on the carrier, and I'm even like lined up to it. But I'm drifting weirdly, like almost like like I'm going down here. I can try to counter that by going up a little bit, but even then it just keeps on wanting to drift. So I'm gonna try again. Come on, land. I can't land. See, I can't go down. Even trying to crash into the runway here, it just, even though I'm pushing down, it keeps on. So yeah, I found this kind of impossible to land on a space carrier, unfortunately. And I'm really trying, but it just bounces off and gets even worse the more I try. But yeah, if I wanted to fly down to the planet, I don't have that problem. So it's a space thing, and maybe the aerodynamic design of this, although does work in space and you have control and you can fly around pretty decently, you got zero accuracy. You can't stop. You can't brake. You can't do any of the other things you would want to do. So I'm thinking that this idea for a space carrier is I would hate to have a carrier fly the same way where you couldn't stop or park it or anything like that. Um, like at this point in time, if I wanted to slow down, I'm trying to reverse my thrust on whatever direction I'm going, but as soon as I turn, it just cocks me in the other direction, so I can't even do that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Just some things I wanted to show you on some results, and I'm still toying with the idea of what I should do with propulsion on a ship. This was obviously an experiment, and I think it's pretty cool for working on the planet. It's a little difficult to fly comparatively speaking to ships that have your 6-direction thruster setup, but in space I'm finding it just not usable, um, unless you're just going from planet to planet, which is easy enough, but I cannot land on anything, unfortunately, with this setup. On the flight right now, I don't have pilot mode on, but I do have auto brake on. But if I turn on pilot mode, it's cool, but it doesn't help me at all with my problem I've got going on, unfortunately. I just cannot slow down. Now keep in mind though, this ship only has 4 rear thrusters and 1 like brake thruster on it, so it doesn't have the up and down and things like that. So I don't think auto brake would work in this setup. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got for today. I'm going to be diverting attention to the Martian base. And yeah, it was brought up that I say that a lot. That's all I've got, that I go on for like another 15 minutes. I'm going to try to keep that shorter. Keep in mind that. But recap, Martian base Sunday. Going to finish that one way or the other. And also that MCR, the Marauder T3, I believe also Sunday. Want to get this finished up. I want to divert attention to that Creel tripod CV and get that going. And then I've been asked to build lots and lots of other things. There's been several requests for a space carrier, and that's why I was kind of trying to figure out how I want to do a space carrier right now. And also to build some HVs and some starter CVs and space stations and some modular stuff. So I got my work cut out for me for sure. And I like all these projects too. That's a thing. So I'm trying to like pick and choose on which ones I think would be the coolest at the time. Obviously, something like a space carrier gets me really excited because I'm thinking, oh boy, I get to build a big ship and people actually want it. And there's something about building big ships I really like. I mean, it's like, I don't know. They're a lot of work, take a lot of time to do, but they're one of my more favorite things to do. That's probably why I've built so many large CVs in the past, is because I really dig that kind of thing a lot. Always trying to kind of up what I've done in the past, one way or the other. In this case, I think this could be a really, really cool ship. Obviously I literally got about 45 minutes of time into building this frame here. But to complete a project like this would probably be another like 100-hour plus project, something like the Creel War Carrier was. This might go a little quicker though. And why this one is taking so long, I won't say so long. I actually started it a few days ago, but it's the asymmetrical aspect of it is going to take you longer to build stuff. It is cool that, but it's kind of like I said, building. If this was symmetrical, I would have had it done in nearly half the amount of time. But I could have just done one wall of like the hangar and called it good, and not have to do a completely different design all the way across the ship, etc. Well, anyway, I'm going to shut up and wish you all happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. I won't be doing a video tomorrow, but probably Friday I'll get another update video out. All right, you all have a good day. See you later.